You may have noticed something a little different about this setup. I am not with my good friend Karson Quinn. I have the privilege of going to college, so I'm down in Cape Girardeau. Uh,
Hey, I'm at college too, bro. Don't it's not like I wasn't doing anything.
this guy goes to community college online, and he acts like it's the same thing as what I'm doing right now.
All I'm hearing is a bunch of hate, man. Last time I checked, hey, college credit is a college credit, buddy.
All right, sure, man. You can have that. You can have that. But it's been a little minute since I've seen this man's beautiful face. Karson, how you doing?
Dude, thank you, Ian. I'm doing fantastic on this wonderful Friday morning. Ian, how are you doing, bro?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Got a little breakfast in me. Got some water in me. You know, got some class at 1:30. Be a good day.
Hey, I'm proud. I'm proud. You're a hardworking young man, and it's gonna turn around. You're gonna be a great guy.
All right. We'll just take it day by day. Yeah,
And with the
yeah.
start of the new school year, Ian, give these people a rundown what they can expect, man.
The setup is a little well. Obviously, the camera quality isn't where it is. I'm running on my computer's webcam that's built into it, so it's not the best quality, but I think that works in my favor. As far as this
Don't,
goes,
bro. You're a good-looking dude, bro. You're a good-looking dude,
as
bro.
far as episodes go, it'll be a little bit different. I will be here for the most part. I'll come back every now and then, but the bulk of episodes will be filmed like they are right now. Um, I hope to get some friends on, so that they can kind of share their political and religious views and just kind of feel. I guess that protein shake wasn't too good, was it?
Nah, that taste is not good at all, bro. Holy cow.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
someone
right.
pissed in my drink.
But the goal is to get a bunch of people on. They can use this platform to express their views on things, just kind of share their beliefs with us and with you guys. So, um, I will say though, this is a little bit out of order. We filmed episode 3 before we filmed episode 2, so episode 3 we'll be back together again. Uh, but episode 2 and then 4 or 5 from here on out is gonna be kind of like this is. So, Darcy, you got anything to add?
It's a great day to have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. The USA has brought in some immense tariffs. Ian, what are the thoughts?
We're getting
Break it down
right,
for me.
right. We're getting right into it. Yeah. So it's the big old T word here. Talking about some tariffs. Hang on, let me pull up my notes
Are tariffs a patriotic idea?
real quick. What does that mean by patriotic?
Do you think it's very American to have tariffs?
I think every country has tariffs.
No, but I'm saying at the
Well,
rate that we do.
not every country. Not really. I don't think so. I think that a lot of countries have them, and I think that the rate that the U.S. is using them and enacting them, I wouldn't call it patriotic. I would simply just call it crazy. So, Cars, what do you think?
I do think they're very patriotic. The last time we had them at this degree of I'd say pricing wise, it's probably since last time we had this was probably the 1930s. But do you think? I also do believe that. Do you think this ties hand in hand with inflation, or do you think? Because
Yeah.
I was doing some research. Tariffs said that tariffs had lifted the USA prices for about 2.3% in 2025, which equates to about $3,800 per household per year in extra money that they're spending due
Yeah.
to
So
inflation.
yeah, so there is a natural inflation rate. I learned about this in economics last year. Normally, you want the inflation rate to be around 3%. If it's under 3%, you're doing well. If it's over 3%, you're not doing too great. Um, as far as do you know where the inflation rate is right now?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I don't
I
know.
want to say, do you think it's lowered from when Joe Biden's term in office?
It's at 2.7. Inflation rose in the past month, so it went from 2.4% to 2.7%. So
Now, do you think companies are going to have to make this switch over to having more jobs in the USA instead of going to third world countries?
yeah,
Like
yeah, and that is partially what. Oh shoot,
that's
um,
what he planned on doing was
can't move my mouse around. Uh, that is what the goal is behind Trump's tariffs. It increases the federal revenue, and it also encourages domestic manufacturing and domestic employment. The only downside to it is that as of right now, before companies can really try to make that happen, is that currently the prices are increased. Like I said, the inflation rose 0.3% from 2.4 to 2.7%. And it's led to a bunch of trade disagreements, and it's definitely slowed down a lot of countries' GDPs because not only is Trump taxing them, but then in retaliation, they are taxing us. So that's as of right now. I mean, it's a long term goal for sure, but as of right now, we're all feeling the effects of it. You know, gaming headset. I like to play video games every now and then. It was just announced 2 days ago that the PS5 is being raised by the prices are being raised by $50. Not even for the game for the average gamer. Like you can see these effects everywhere in every business. So, Cars, if you've got any thoughts on where you feel the tariffs are headed and what you think of them.
On the grand scheme of things, I don't think they're the worst idea. I see where Trump's coming from, that you want more jobs in the United States, which I think companies, granted, it's a 4 year. I don't know who the next president is, but I highly doubt. I don't know what they're going to do with tariffs. We have to see for the next, when 2028 rolls around, we'll see if tariffs have played a pretty good role or they've been super inefficient to the economy. And so I guess if you're a company owner right now, I don't see why you'd try to make the switch and build a multi-billion-dollar project in order to, mass produce your product in the United States. You might as well just tough it out for 4 years
Yeah, that's
and increase your prices. So it's like if we had these tariffs in effect for a substantial amount of time, then I'd see why they'd make sense. Now, do I think they're the worst thing ever? No, but it does affect the working class substantially. I do think we also talked about this on the other podcast, small business owners. You know, when you're shipping your product from third parties like China and places even like Canada, bro, it's
I
obscene.
guess that's the big question here is do you think that these tariffs are long term?
But that's the only question that needs to be answered is if they're long term, they could be good. They could be good. In the long run, I think they could be efficient. Now, I wish we could confirm that they are going to be here for the long run, but we have no freaking clue. No
Well,
one has any clue.
what I think the issue is there's not enough unity between the two parties. It feels like you'll hear about as soon as a new party gets elected president, a bunch of stuff just gets thrown out the drain. And a lot of these
Yeah.
presidents, they have long term goals for this country, but they're not in power long enough to let them happen because what'll happen is a new party will take place or will take the White House. A new party will take the White House, and then what will happen is they'll just tear everything out from the last presidency, and then they'll just start bringing in all their new policies, and then that cycle is just kind of repeating. That's what we've kind of seen really since Obama. After Obama served his 8 years and Trump took over, we immediately Obamacare went out. Some of the military sanctions that he had were gone. All that stuff, and it just kind of going back and forth at this point. So I don't think the tariffs will be long term, and that's my issue with it. Unless JD Vance gets elected or whoever the Republicans uh, announce as their candidate for 2028, it'll probably be JD Vance if I had to guess. But
Yeah, it seems like
it's 3 years out from now, so no idea. Um, unless the Republican prime candidate gets elected, then I don't think they will be. I think all the tariffs will go away. I think the economy will see a slow return to what it was before the tariffs, and then we'll just go from there. Uh, but yeah, that's my biggest concern with it is that I don't think these tariffs will be long term. I think they'll serve this presidency, and then that'll probably be it.
that's why they're so uncertain, in my opinion. But you also got to look at it, bro. Is think how much national debt the United States is in. I don't know what year we took a huge beating. Was that like the 2000s? Is when we first broke into the negatives, or was that the 90s?
Oh wait, was the housing market crash and there was a major recession? That was under Bush.
And we went, and now we're what? Are we trillions in debt? Multi trillions?
Easily.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And I guess for the most part, he's trying to.
Well, you know, the U.S. is like losing money. They're taking on more debt every year than money they're bringing in.
Oh, 100%. Well, then we also got to look at it in the sense of him not taxing overtime and what else was he not taxing overtime and what was the other one?
Tips. He didn't
Tips.
tax on
Yeah, tips.
tips. I did see that. That's like, it's only for a certain amount of money, but it's like a crazy amount of money. It's like 10 grand in tips, or it was something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but the idea behind it is you get enough of those tips, you can work your way up either towards a better job or like it'll get you to where you need to be.
Well, I mean, it's the tax on overtime is only so let's say if you get paid time and a half, you're still getting taxed on the regular rate,
Mm-hmm.
but the half that you're making more is
Yeah,
non-taxed. So
so
if like
it's
you're making $30 an hour, you're still getting taxed on the 30, but the
mm-hmm.
45 that you make in overtime,
You're not getting taxed on. Yeah.
that 15 difference is not being taxed. But what also we talk about tariffs and then but we also have to talk about other countries having tariffs on the United States trying to combat that.
Mm-hmm.
We also got to talk about foreign tensions. I mean, we had Canada out here acting like big tough guy and taking us almost to war. Not really, but other countries
Very
hit
much
back
so.
with their own tariffs. I mean, manufacturers, farmers.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think that ever punished the USA more? Is inflicting higher tariffs, and then all of a sudden,
I mean, me as a middle class citizen, I would say yes because I hate going into a grocery store and seeing how much more expensive stuff is because of because of the tariffs, and it's almost gotten to a point where I forgot how cheap stuff was way back when, and now it's just like I'm used to overpaying on groceries and food and all that stuff, and it's just. I mean, it's again. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it. Um, and I do think as of right now it is negatively affecting the U.S. But
I'd
I
say it
just
never. I'd say it negatively affects me and you more than it does anybody else.
well I
People that are
just I
just now
just have to
starting
see.
their lives.
Well, I mean it's like you said it's a 4 year presidency, and I just got to see where he goes with these tariffs. And it's tough as a citizen for me to see where he's going because he's so radical with them. He'll impose one and then he'll get rid of another, and it'll just go back and forth and back and forth. And I just don't know. He'll just announce it on what's his social media site? Truth Social. That's like the Republican Twitter, basically. He'll announce it on Truth, and then everyone's just kind of blindsided about it because they had no idea. It's not even like he met with the prime minister or the president or whoever it was, the whatever country he's imposing it on. It'll just snap his fingers like that. It'll just happen, and so it's tough to see a goal in what Trump wants out of these tariffs.
Why? Why do you think he imposed them? What do you think
Uh, to
his thought process was behind it?
Why does Trump impose tariffs?
Why do you think he did? Or why do you think when he got into office that was the first?
Well, that's what he said he was gonna do. He said he was gonna
Correct. Yeah.
he said he was gonna put a bunch of tariffs on. He was going to domesticate oil. The U.S. They've got that. It's basically become a meme at this point. The U.S. loves their oil. So he's going to essentially what he wants to do is he wants to raise America's GDP by doing everything domestically. The only issue is you can't do everything domestically, not in this economy. Like you need these trade routes, you need these agreements with other countries. But the reality of it is that like there's only so much the U.S. can do on their own, and I think that Trump doesn't really. I mean, he might see it, but you could tell me he doesn't, I'd believe you. I would be more inclined to believe you if you said that Trump doesn't realize that than he does. And so I don't know. I think that allies are important, especially in today. Uh, but like I said, I don't know. It's a whole lot that we have to see play out.
Lots of ups and downs. Lots of uncertainty. Could be good. Could be bad. We don't know. It's only 4 years. So I don't like going to the store to buy a freaking $13 protein shake though. That kind of sucks.
That's a great way to start.
Um, in Alaska. Hey, did you see what happened in Alaska, Ian?
With Trump and Putin.
Yeah. What are we thinking, man? Are we screwed? You saw that
No.
No concrete agreements were made. It was basically just like a bunch of like third graders meeting up that were used to be bullies of each other and like they just never see eye to eye.
I'm not. I don't know. I don't like what Russia's doing with Ukraine. Obviously, I don't think anyone does.
Oh, it's so shady, bro.
But you said shady.
Mhm.
That's a that's a word to use for it. Um, but I just don't know if that would have happened if Trump was still in office, because Putin flat out said it. Putin flat out
Putin
said
don't mess with he don't mess with Trump, but
Putin flat
Trump's
out
very
said if Trump was in office, he wouldn't have invaded Ukraine, which I think is interesting. And I will say this though, I did feel like the world was in a much more peaceful time when Trump was president. That's, I mean,
you said wasn't or was.
was. It felt like there were no major wars going on. And you've always got your conflicts in the Middle East because
Those are always gonna be there. It's
it's just a
been there
bloodbath
for
over
yeah,
there. You know, you
it's
can't
always
really
been that way.
control too much of it. But I mean, Israel and Palestine. I mean, there were definitely tensions, but there was no like straight up invasion. There was no war or anything like that. Um, Ukraine wasn't being attacked by Russia. Uh, Iran and Israel. I mean, there's a bunch of little conflicts. That's what. Well, though I will say though, Iran bombed Israel in retaliation. That was during Trump's presidency, but then Trump put an end to it real quick by bombing Iran's nuclear facilities.
That was ballsy. I can't lie. That was
Yeah. Not a lot of people were a fan of that, and I at the time I wasn't a fan of it either. But Iran backed off, and so I've warmed up to the idea of it for sure.
it was very thought out
I
and
disagree.
you don't think that
It
dude has
happened.
spent
It
hours knowing
happened
what they were doing?
so fast. It
You don't
happened
think they knew? You
so
don't think they knew for days on what their plan was? It was
methodical.
thought out, methodical.
Yeah. No, you're all right.
Sorry, bro. I haven't finished my cup of coffee.
No, I mean, it really just kind of happened. The U.S. never, at least in my recollection of it, the U.S. never like put out, "Hey, we will bomb you." You know,
No, but there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes, though. You don't think that was in their
no,
top of mind? I
absolutely.
mean, they probably had that thought out for. They knew exactly where they're going, but it was more the precision. Like they didn't f around.
Yeah,
It was more of just
no,
a
they didn't.
got in, got out.
Hey,
And
one thing.
when they sent them out of Missouri, hey,
Yeah, I was
rip
about to
to
say
us.
the part. I was about to ask you if you knew that.
Yeah, they sent them
Yeah,
out. Well, they sent one that went like west, and they sent some that went north a couple hours later to confuse them.
right.
And which is like, come on. Uh, when you're messing with that level of military intelligence, everything has to be down to a science.
For sure. No, for sure.
To make that big of a decision, oh hell
Yeah,
yeah, it does.
I mean, it was like Iran bombed Israel. What, like, it was like 12 days or something like that. It may
Yeah,
have been less than.
I think less than
Yeah, no, it was just. It's.
ballsy, but
I just remember seeing that on Twitter, and I was just like, oh, haha, whatever, whatever. I keep scrolling, and everyone's like, oh shoot, maybe he did bomb Iran.
I can't lie. That's ballsy though. I'd much rather have a powerful leader. I don't. Okay, I want to.
You've talked about
I,
this
I
for sure. I don't know
yeah,
if you
definitely.
shoot. I
Would
don't
you
know if you
rather?
shoot with the tube.
What's the saying? What's the saying? Would you rather have like a powerful leader that other people are scared of, or someone that rolls over and nobody really respects? Um,
Well, I
I
mean,
feel
when
I
you
feel
put
people
it,
see the United States. Well, you see the number one country in the world in the United States,
Karson,
and you see their leader, and then you put
put
two and two together, like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with this guy.
well, when you put it like that, it sounds like would you rather have $1 million of cancer? Like you,
Come on,
you
bro.
I'm serious, bro. You said
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
you said, and I quote, I would rather have someone who toughens up and is strong in the moment versus someone who's scared and rolls over. Like, bro,
100%.
the way that you
I would
put
much
it,
rather. I'd much rather the leader of the country be someone that is strong
yes.
and doesn't mess around.
I think everyone would. But like that's what I'm saying. Like, would you rather have $1 million or cancer? Like, you're saying,
Okay.
would you rather have this
Okay.
president
So
who's
some
all
people,
good, or
but
would
some
you rather
people,
have
I
this
don't. Okay.
president who's awful? You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. Yes. Yes.
you're not giving
Precisely.
that other
But
person any
okay.
sort of
So
love.
Joe Biden during his presidency. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Do you think he is going over to the Middle East and sending airstrikes over
I don't know.
nuclear bases?
Iran didn't bomb Israel during that time. So
But if it did happen, we're just hypothetically speaking. I don't know, bro. But I'm
hypothetically,
just very
I don't know.
I do like someone who's powerful, but I don't like that sometimes he can be an idiot and he's really just sometimes can turn some things down and say some stuff where I'm like, okay, bro, we gotta chill out. super I think he's very intelligent, more than people give him credit for.
All right, you can give him that credit.
I say he's very intelligent. I don't think he's an idiot.
Give him that credit.
I think he's a great negotiator. I do like someone in office
I'll give you
that's
that.
been in business because he knows what the hell he's doing. I mean, you're
Give you that for
negotiating
sure.
$1 billion deals before you get into the office, and then you have the whole United States. You got 500 million people's lives at stake when you're negotiating these deals. So he takes them seriously, and he's got. I feel like he also learned he's got a great team around him, though.
You think
I
so?
like JD Vance. I think JD Vance is like his son. He's a very strong-minded and
I don't
strong-willed
want to
dude.
say that. I don't want to say that because I personally like JD Vance.
You don't?
No, I personally like JD.
I like JD
So
Vance. I think
I don't
I
want
do
to say
think I
he's
do
my
think
son. I don't
I
want to
do
say
think
he's my
he's
son.
okay. My bad. Well, not in that sense. I think the way
You
that
can
they
say
think,
that.
the way that
You can
they
say that
are.
for
I mean,
sure.
they're very. I don't want to say like masculine because that just sounds weird, but I'd say they're very like they're men. Like I'd look at him and be like, okay, that's a man.
Well,
He's very thought out.
I like
He's
JD
very
Vance
well
for his
spoken. But I
experience.
think okay, Trump. I sometimes he's well spoken, sometimes he's not. But I think JD Vance for the most part very methodical. Okay, I'm just gonna stop talking. He's very well thought out when he speaks, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. I like JD Vance, A for his experience and B for his speeches. I feel like a lot, not everything he says, but a lot of the stuff I can respect how much effort he puts into it. I like that he is both A, ex-military, and B, he was in Congress. I think that experience is definitely big. What was it? He was a senator in Ohio. Is that what it was?
I believe so. I'd have that for star.
You froze for a second. That's all. And so, that's just I don't know. I'm a fan of him. I would say. I'd like to see him run for president, and he'd have my vote. I'll say that. But I mean, we'll see. We got a little heated there for a second.
I would say we got heated. We just had a conversation, bro. Like I'm not gonna drive up to Simo and just start swinging on you.
I would appreciate the visit, regardless of if it has bad intentions.
Anytime, brother.
Yeah. Well, so at some point, maybe you should come down. I lucked into getting a dorm room by myself.
Do you think that 68% of people are Christian? Indeed, Ian.
No.
I just saw that fact.
Well, I think that there are people that have the wrong interpretation of it. I feel like there's people who have the idea of, oh, I just believe in Jesus, I'm a Christian. You know what I mean?
Well, then what class? Okay, then to my point, what classifies you as a Christian? Like, okay, you have to go to church every Sunday.
No.
What happens if you're like, okay, I believe in God, I'm a Christian, but
Well,
not everyone. But not everyone carries out their faith the same way.
Exactly. So, okay, so the way that I would sum it up is in this verse of James, and it says, "Faith without works is dead." Now, do you believe that 68% of these people have their faith and have their works? And do you believe that 68% of the nation is showing those works?
Do you want my honest answer?
Yes.
No.
So is 68% of the U.S. Christian?
No. Well, I'd say they believe. I'd say.
Yeah.
What would you say? Well, you say. Okay, I agree with you. No, I wholeheartedly do. And that verse in James was. I mean, you hit it right on. Very, very well and thought out. Good research, Ian. But is that 68% believe in God? Then what number are we knocking it down to is an actual Christian, where they actually carry out their faith?
I think more people believe in a higher power. And I'm not saying that those people don't believe in God, and those people may also believe in Jesus, but their issue is that they don't carry it out. You know what I mean? And that's what is called in the Bible a lukewarm Christian. And there's a verse in Revelations. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm gonna maybe cheat and look it up. And I've got my Bible on me as well. Right here. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. This was a great gift for me. I've been using it for a while now. But if I can find it in Revelation somewhere, I will let you know.
Ian. Do you think it's hard for people to talk about Christianity because it's I'm not going to say mocked in our current society, but it's such a no one likes to talk about their sins. We were having this conversation the other day, and
Mhm.
the hardest thing to ever talk about, I think even harder than politics, is God.
Here it is.
So do you think people would you I would agree with the saying that people need to talk more about it. I don't think people have I do not think people have meaningful conversations is what I'm saying. On a day-to-day basis, I don't think I have enough meaningful conversations. I don't think I talk enough about how I truly feel about God, how I truly feel about X, Y, and Z. I feel like I'm very I don't know to myself, but I feel like a lot of people are that way.
Uh, I would say really quickly. I found the verse, so I'm just gonna read it off real quick. I'm talking about lukewarm Christians. I know your works. You are neither cold nor hot. Would that you were either cold or hot. So because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. Right. So that's God talking to one of the churches at the time, but it applies to us. Right. So because a lot of people are lukewarm in their faith, it's not gonna mean anything to God. You are either in or you're not. It's that simple, right? And so it's just anyways, your original question. Do you think that there not enough people are talking about God? I would 100% agree, and that's kind of what one of the goals was with this podcast. Is I'm trying to get more people to be open about their religious beliefs. I would like to. I mean, you can call it loud. I can be the loud minority in this. I'll gladly take that role on. But what my goal is to get people to talk about their beliefs in the hopes of inspiring others. You know, so and that's not just for religion. That's also for politics. I remember back in the '60s, you could tell people who you voted for without any issues. I don't remember that personally. I don't know why I said I remember that. I was not around back then.
Yeah, casually got my on the phone with a bunch of 80-year-old college student Ian Nixon.
No, I don't remember that. But there was a time, um, not from my dad, although he was close. There's a time where you could tell people who you voted for, and it would be different for every neighborhood, and no one would have an issue with it. And there was even a time not too long ago, with the I remember the 2012 presidential debates. It was a whole lot more respectful. I always think of this quote with Obama. He said, "Senator Romney and I have the same ideas of where we want this country to go. We just have different ideas of how we want to get there." And so I just think about that respect that we had that's lost. The lost art of respecting each other's parties and beliefs. And I want to see that come back. I want to see that come
Scary,
back.
bro. Matthew 20. I wrote this down. Matthew 22:37.
Uh oh.
Love God and
Let's hear it.
love your neighbor as yourself.
Uh huh.
I don't think in today's society we do a good enough job. I don't know what the 1960s were like you do, Ian, but
we're just gonna clip that into oblivion, aren't we?
yeah. But like growing up, I think life's very innocent though. So
Yeah.
yeah, shout out Grams for real. Great grandpa.
Love you,
I think
pops.
life, yeah. I think life's innocent though as you're growing up. So like what I mean by that is when you're young, you don't really get a full grasp. Everything's happy and rainbows. And then as you get older, you see the world's kind of full of greed and lust. Not the world's full of it, but you start to get an
I
understand.
disagree. I think it is.
Okay, I do too. Okay, get on the same page. But you get an understanding of that this world is full of selfishness. I'm not perfect, dude. I've had my selfish ways for sure, and I've had my greed and lust moments. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to be a better man day in and day out, but I do think that also growing up plays a role where you get to see the true. You you develop a cognitive ability to understand what is wrong. You see, okay, this is happening bad. This is going bad. What's bad? But I also feel like as a human, we dawn on the negatives in life way more than we do the positives.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that that's kind of like the metaphorical third eye opening, right? So there's like a spiritual sort of demonic thing where it's like your third eye opens and it's right here and allows you to see things that you never could see before. But I think that like in a sense of a metaphor, then that's what it is. And it's almost like, you see what's going on with your two eyes, but then your third eye opens and you actually like understand what's happening, right? And it's like your eyes get open to a whole new world of of a whole lot of bad. Honestly, it almost, and I blame the media for that because the media wants you to think that there's a lot more bad out there than there is good, and I disagree. I think that there's a whole lot of good out there that the media just doesn't talk about.
Because
And
it doesn't give you a story. Why would you want to talk about good things? There's no good story.
exactly. No one.
It doesn't appeal to the eye because if you're talking about something that's happy, okay, like what
Yeah.
about it?
No
But
one.
if you talk about okay, 37 people died, okay, let me tune
Yeah,
into
that's a
this.
story right there. And so I think that it's up to us as people, as average people living in this country, to make sure to spread the good, and not just kind of harp on whatever the news is saying. I think it's good to talk about politics, and it's definitely important to talk about the bad things that are going on. But I think that it's also important to mention the good that comes with it. You know.
Well, okay, so our brains. I was just taking a dive back. I was listening to this the other day. We're definitely our brains are wired to be negativity positive. You think about our ancestors. We
Well, it's instinctual.
we we had to get away from predators,
Hmm.
storms, and enemies like that. Those were like back then. That's all you can think about was how
That's
am I
it.
going to stay alive.
That's
So
it.
you're worried and scared about these negative things that are going to happen. And the media nowadays, if it bleeds, it leads. It's kind of like that's kind of
Where'd
the.
you come up with that?
Is that actually good?
Yeah, that
Thanks.
was good. Did you come up with that?
I did.
Wow,
Because I was thinking
I'm
about dead people.
impressed.
I was thinking about the shootings, and I was talking about bleeding and
I'm
leading.
impressed.
Sorry, I was just stairs, pairs, hairs. Anyways, um,
Buddy's been watching episode one.
I forgot about that,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. Episode one is out right now.
But you know what you know what it is, Ian, and I got to thinking about
Tell me
this
what it is,
the
Carson.
other
I
day.
would love to
Okay,
know.
let's think about. All right, I'm gonna look at you for this one. Let's think about
I'm
positive
looking at you.
situations, bro. Let's think about positive situations. All right, they feel really good, they do, but they fade super duper fast. All right,
You think that is an issue?
negative experiences, especially like trauma, they stick and they shape the world. So I want you to do this, bro. I can easily think of negative things that have happened in my life, but when I started thinking about the positive, bro, it almost takes me a second.
Does it really?
It does. Ian, what's happened positive in the media the past couple last days or so?
In the media, I couldn't tell you.
Exactly. You can tell you all the negatives, but
The Cardinals won last night. Go Birds.
that's a rare occurrence.
Yeah, that's a real rare occurrence. Go Birds. That's a positive, and that got covered by a media. But yeah, no. As far as like something coming from CNN or News Nation or whatever, no idea. And I think that that's definitely an issue. But like you said beautifully, if it bleeds, it leads. So just that quote is very true because that the media wants those stories, and it's unfortunate, but not much we can do about it, I guess. We
Dude,
got.
have you heard the paradox of the illusion of control?
I'm afraid not. Please educate me.
All right. So basically, Ian, you spend your whole life, and dude, this is me, like to a
Okay.
T.
Okay.
Patrick Beverly, timeout. If you know, you know.
I do know.
So we spend our entire lives basically trying to control everything, which is literally our future, other people's opinions, outcomes on life. Yet, if you think about it, control is a complete illusion, bro. Like you try to control these things, but you have zero control over them. But you elude yourself to thinking that you have control over them. And my question, bro, is what like I wish I could jeez. What happens when you finally let go? Because I'm so focused on the future. Like it's bad. Um and I'll own up to that. What happens as us as humans if we just let go and finally trust like uncertainty? Does that scare you? Do you know what I'm talking about here?
So where's the paradox of
It's not really. It's just called the illusion of. It's
that?
called the illusion of control. Paradox makes it sound super cool though.
Yeah, I was so lost. I was like, where's it catching up like that? No.
Like, is freedom is true freedom and living life found in trying to control things or just surrendering up your life?
Dude,
It's kind of. I would say to God. I would say to God and letting him. You letting him. It's Drake. Sorry. I hate that Drake made this song because it ruins everything. But
Hey,
like
bro.
God's plan for you, bro.
Dude, I can tell you right now, you do not have to reference Drake because our audience, my grandparents, are not gonna know who Drake is. You could have just said it.
I feel like every time I say God's plan, I think about that song. So
The image just gets flashbanged in you.
it does. It does. Literally the album cover and all.
Oh man, no, you're good.
Do you believe that you should just be uncertain about life and just live it and try your hardest?
Yeah. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I do know that God will be there for me. So I try to tell myself that as much as possible. I try to pray as much as I can, and just remember it's all in God's hands.
Why? Why do you think people don so much on the opinions of others?
Like I was saying, we have sinful desires, but it's not what God has in mind for us. God has a better plan for us, and in the long run, that will benefit us more, right? Because if I say, okay, it's instinctual for me to sleep with as many women as possible, to have as many kids as possible, to continue the bloodline, that's going to come back to bite me because of how emotions work, because of how humans work and how they have this consciousness. So if I have all these kids with all these women, then it's going to be
Oh, chill out there, buddy.
exactly like no, but I'm
Jeez,
serious. Like that's what it is right now. Like
ladies, man. Gosh.
and so whereas if God says if I'm faithful and I get married to this one woman and I have kids with this one woman, emotionally and spiritually that's going to work out better for me in the long run, right? Like I know it's kind of a weird subject to talk about, but that's literally like that's what it is. And it's kind of like what you said, a lot of people are uncomfortable. You're off camera by the way right now. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, there we go.
I was just
My bad. My bad.
Yeah, all right. A lot of people are uncomfortable with it, but it's like you said, you want people to have the or you or and me, right? Like we both said this on this episode. Like we want people to be more comfortable having these conversations.
110%. And I think we were also talking about trying to be favorited by other people, like having other people
Yeah.
like you, and why we're so caught up in the concerns of other people's opinions. That's I because we were having that conversation the other day about some buddies and why they may not like somebody, or what motivates them to say the things that they say. And like, what actually truly motivates me is
What motivates
okay, so mortality, aka your death.
you? Yeah, I know.
I think of it like mortality and death, so of humans, that equals motivation for me. I don't, it sounds weird, but when it comes to the opinions of others, the fact that I'm going to die, and I hate to break it to you, bro, in probably 5 months after I die, I hate to break it to you, bro, no one's gonna think of me. Like, it's just the sad truth, the true sad truth. Unless you do something like remarkable, where you're like the Queen of England. Like, Ian, when's the last time you thought of the Queen of England, other than right now?
Actually, I saw something a couple days ago.
All right, bro, get out of here. It's because you saw something a couple days ago. But the woman that was most respected and known by, quite frankly, billions of people, maybe the whole world,
Right.
died, and no one's talked about her since. So that,
It's crazy.
to me, that mortality and death equals the motivation that fuels me to not even worry about what other people think. Because I told you about this off camera, but I got this dude at work who's just MFs me the whole day, bro. He told me yesterday. I had to tell you this, bro. Almost had to. All right, I need to chill out. There was a speck on the floor, and he called me over, bro. And he goes, "You see the speck on the floor?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You mean as much to me as a speck on the floor."
Just unprovoked.
Unprovoked. I just got to work, bro. Mind you, guys, it's 5:30 in the morning, and I just got to work.
I would laugh at.
Oh, dude, I do all the time. I was like, good to know, good to know we have the same feelings for each other. I said, good to know that feelings are mutual.
Oh
Because like every day, and biggest asshole I've ever met, dude. And like I view that life, and I'm like, okay, so I can let that eat at me all day, all day. Now this is a 60-year-old dude driving forklift. No offense, probably a loser, like a true, like, definitely depressed with his life. And
Hey, let's be a little kinder.
sorry, but like, if you
I
could see the stuff that
understand.
he
I
says, if you could see the stuff that he says to me, bro, it would, like, you'd be like, okay, this dude's just an a-hole.
Would it?
Like, that's not even the worst, bro. Yeah, he called me an effing idiot. He always blames me for everything. Like, we'll be driving on the dock, bro, and like there'll be a piece of a package that's like destroyed. He's like, oh, probably you touched this, like as in like I picked it up, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like I don't know why what's provoking you to say this every single day, but the idea of like letting that try to eat at me for the rest of the day, just blow it off, bro. This that means not. What does that? What does that mean in my life? Nothing. And even if it's someone that I actually kind of view and I think's the guy's kind of cool, and he says that to me, still serves no purpose because I'm like, he's gonna die at some point. And why would I care what he has to say about me? That I'm a little speck on the ground. I mean nothing to him. Oh, okay. Like,
I mean, I could give you a biblical answer as to how to handle that if you wanted, but if you
what, the work beef that we're experiencing, me and a 6-year-old man.
I will listen to your rant. Like I'll listen to it, but I have an answer for you.
Hit me with it.
You're not gonna like it.
I'm gonna forgive him. No, I forgive him. I do. I actually do.
You don't just forgive him, bro. You respond to his hate with love. You know, like
I'd say
you were talking earlier, and you were like, "Hey, man, the feeling's mutual." When you was talking about you mean this much to me, you know, that's responding to hate with hate. If you respond to hate with love,
it's
bro,
true. It's true.
he might notice something. I tell you what, if
Ian, there's not a shot because I spent the first couple months trying to just be cool with this guy.
hey, all of us say is from what you explained to me. If I was a 6-year-old man and there was this 19-year-old kid who came in every day and I just hated him. I was sick and tired of his face. Every time I saw him, I had to let him know how little he meant to me. If I told him he meant as much to me as a speck on the ground, and he came around and told me, "You mean as much?"
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! Turn it back, bro. Turn it back. Tone it back. Ian, let's say this 19-year-old, don't get this blown out of proportion. You're talking about, I see his ugly face every day, bro. I despise this guy. Let's say this 19-year-old has been a good dude to you, bro. Picked up you go into a trailer, you back up and tear everything, and he cleans it up for you. This 19-year-old is a good kid, and he respects work, and he works his butt off. But you just despise him. Okay, now say what you're going to say. Because you got this painted out to be like I'm some villain that needs to be hated and killed.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm saying from his perspective, he hates you. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying from his perspective, he hates you. All right.
Yes, but I was treating his disrespect with love to begin with.
You gotta include.
And then all of a sudden I was like, I told you that for the first. Okay, I've been there for a year almost, coming up on a year, Ian. For the first like 7 months, bro, I was just all love, bro. Like he would cuss me out, Ian, MF me, like you piece of shit, right to my face. And then I'd be like, dang, bro, what did I do? Like, how can I help you? After that 8 months, he still does it. When is it? When do I need to stop? I know I'm bad. I know it's bad. But at some point, bro, I feel like you as a man, you just gotta stand up for yourself. Even though that in the Catholic faith, that's awful. That's awful. I'm sorry, bro. I just got carried away. Oh no, and it's not affecting you when I can be worked out, bro.
We may have to cut a decent bit of this out, bro. All right. So how do you have these conversations, right? Like I try to share my faith with a whole bunch of people, and a lot of the times I bring it up subtly. I say, hey, I'll be talking to someone. I'll say I'm super involved in Campus Movement, which is the church group down here. Like I'll bring that stuff up, and I'll bring it up subtly, right? But every now and then, on the very very rare occasion, someone asks me about it, and then I'll ask them what they believe in. I'll get a variety of answers. Sometimes I'll get I believe in God too, or I don't believe in anything, or there might be God. So how do you, being the Christian you are, share your faith with these people?
That despise you and hate you. How do you bring it up? How would you bring it up?
Gosh, okay, we're back to that.
I'm joking, bro. My bad.
Yeah. So, I went out. I did some research as to what verses could maybe help me and help you guys. You and your angry coworker. and help them and show love, right? While defending your faith. So I found a few verses. We're back to the Bible. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Great gift. If you've got a Bible on you, I would invite you to turn to 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 15 and 16.
Hold up.
Take your time. You can if you want.
I'm on the Bible app right now.
Nice.
All right, give me it.
1 Peter chapter 3, verses 15 and 16. But in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Yet do it with gentleness and respect, having a good conscience, so that, when you are slandered, those who revile your good behavior in Christ may be put to shame. Praise God.
Break that down for us.
Write it?
Break it down.
Oh, break it down. Okay. So we'll start at the very beginning. But in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy. Seems pretty simple, straightforward. Pretty simple and straight. Seems pretty simple and straightforward.
English is hard.
Every now and then. But in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Karson.
That's my name.
It is. Okay, I was kind of hoping you could hop in for a second. You're good, though.
Oh.
I'll take it.
I was just having you break it down, and I'll come in and say some things.
How often have you had to defend your faith? If at all? Because, there's some people who grow up in a very Christian area, I wouldn't necessarily say sheltered, but they've never really had to.
So you call me sheltered.
So
you call me sheltered, yeah.
Bring their faith into the real world.
I don't know a time where I was. Was the right word persecuted?
No. Not even persecuted. Just asked about it.
I can't remember a time, if I'm being quite frankly honest with you.
Oh, you're good. Not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people that have.
No, I don't think I have, bro.
Yeah, but you want to know something?
So
I was 7 years old at space camp defending the word of God to people.
I can take a little Mortimer Nixon out there.
I'm so serious, man.
Break this down for us. What is this? What happened?
Yeah. So I don't know. I just heard something. I just heard someone say something about God not being real, and I had to step in. So I started asking them, and I was 7 years old. I didn't know what to say. In my mind, everyone believed in God, so it was crazy for me to find someone who didn't. Right? So I just started asking them, and I was just like, "No, God is real. He loves you."
Nice.
I didn't know how to defend it. So thankfully, I've gotten a little bit of teaching, and at the very least, I can answer some questions that people might have, some commonly asked questions. And I could give scriptural references to a few of them, and I think that it's an important skill, right? Because it's right here in the Bible. We're called by God to be prepared to make a defense to anyone, and I like that. I like that Peter says, "For the hope that is in you." Like we were talking about earlier with the media. There's a lot of negativity out there, but we as Christians should always have hope, and we should always have love. And so just being prepared for someone to ask, like, "Oh, why are you so happy?" Hey, it's Jesus. I don't believe in Jesus.
Oh, I like that, E.
Yeah. So we'll keep it going here unless you got something you want to add.
I love that response to why are you happy? No, I thought that's great.
Okay. All right. We'll just restart it. But in your hearts, honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Yet do it with gentleness and respect. That part might be my favorite part in the entire passage, right? Because what I love about it is how you should be loving. And I think that a lot of the times when we get into arguments, it's very easy to respond to anger with anger, right? So if someone insults God, like my very first thought is to get mad at them and start texting a bunch of mean things and cussing him out or say like whatever.
Yee,
You know,
yee. Relax, bro. Relax.
whether I'm saying it
I
online
know. I agree.
or whether I'm seeing it in person. You know, like I get anger in my heart, like genuinely.
As you
But
should.
that's not what I'm called to do. You know, like we as Christians are called to respond to hate with love, and it's a very tough thing to do. Again, going back to the talk about human instincts, like it's instinctual for us to see anger, and then that flight or fight kicks in, and we want to retaliate. However, doing it with gentleness and respect, we show love, and we're different. We're set aside. Uh, there's a Bible verse that talks about we are called to be a city on the hill. Like we're supposed to be an example for others. And so if we respond to hate with hate, we're just like everyone else. And that's not what we're supposed to do. So
I love the analogy of the city on the hill. We think we talked about that the other day.
yeah, we did. Yeah,
Why do you think God calls us to be a city on the hill? You gonna break that down?
I'm just not noticing your bad head.
Bro, I had work this morning, bro. That's not bedhead. Yeah, maybe it is, bro. I just don't do my hair.
I'm messing with you. God calls us to be a city on the hill because uh, we as Christians are supposed to be set apart, right? Like we're not. We are called to be different, right? Like God wants us to be an example for everyone else, and so I think that that's tough, especially in modern times, to still show God's love to people, especially with. Well, we'll go back to it. The news is spreading all of this hate. A lot of people have a lot of hate in their hearts, frankly, and I think that it's up to us as Christians to be something else, and to proclaim Jesus and His love that He has for us, regardless of what state we're in and what position we're in. Wherever we are, like we should always be trying to show God's love one way or the other to whoever we meet, wherever we go, et cetera, et cetera. But if you've got anything,
No, as I said, yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback off what you're saying. It's basically like the visibility. You can tell that the city on a hill is unmistakably different than the rest of the cities. Not that it stands out per se, but it. I mean, okay, yes, it stands out. It's different, is what I'm saying.
for sure.
It's kind of like a beacon, like you know what I mean. If you're in a city and then all of a sudden there's a different city that's propped up on a hill, and I can imagine bright lights and
Mm-hmm.
glimmering and glowing. It's kind of things like a beacon of safety. Travelers can see it from miles away. It's kind of like home. It's a
Mm-hmm.
source of yeah, like a source of direction and hope for people is how I kind of view that. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought you
Yeah.
hit that on the heady.
This last part, I feel, especially applies to you. This last verse.
Shoot,
Uh, and
that
your
hurts.
one situation with your 60-year-old coworker. Having a good conscience so that when you are slandered, those who revile your good behavior in Christ may be put to shame.
Mm.
Karson, I want to see how you would apply that to your 60-year-old coworker. I want you to give me the game plan. Having a good
Having the
conscience
conscience.
so that when you are slandered, those who revile your good behavior in Christ may be put to shame.
You know what I think of that is? You ever heard the terminology like seeing red?
Yeah. Yeah.
My conscience, whenever this guy like gets mad at me for like some pointless reason, I've kind of given up on the hope and the prosperity for this dude in his ever being. And I see red. So when I reflect on this, my conscience, I need to take a step back. I need to, like you were talking about earlier when we had this conversation. It's not always the right to treat fire with fire, because then I hate to break it to you, bro. If you put fire in fire, guess what? There's a bigger flame. Nothing gets solved. So fight fire with like a normal human would, and fight fire with water. Nobody in today's world, and I mean, I'm just making an analogy. Like nobody, you're not going to see your house on fire and then, oh, bro, let's throw more fire on it. Like that doesn't make any sense. So maybe calming down the situation and doing as God would see just.
Uh huh. I will say though, I think that God gets a lot of false blame. You use the house analogy, and what I always think about is this other analogy where a house gets graffitied on, and people see that and blame the builder. You know,
Why do you say that? Why do you see that?
so I'll essentially explain that very very fast for you.
What happens? I don't know if I per se see it that way. If I see a wall that's graffitied on, I don't blame the wall builder.
Right. No. So here's what happens: is the house is the universe, the graffiti is the sin, and the person who blames the builder are the people who don't believe in God, right? And so God creates this house, right? This builder creates this house. Someone else goes and messes it up, and then people see that mistake and blame the builder. So God creates the universe. We mess it up with sin, and then people blame God for it. Just to put it plain and simply. And I always liked that analogy
This is a good one.
because
No.
I mean, all of the stuff, all of the bad things that are going on in this world, can all come back to Adam and Eve and what they did. And so, for us to then go and blame God for our tough times is unfair. All right, I've got time for another verse or two, but we've kind of ran a little past clock.
Sun's coming up in your place, man. Guys are on two different
It's almost
time
10.
codes. You look at
I'm,
Ian, look at me, bro.
I'm 2 hours directly south of him. He was making that up.
So basically, it's 5 a.m.
4.
here, 10
Ephesians 4.
p.m. when Ian's. Bring it up to us, E.
If I can find it. Let's go. Ephesians 4. Verses 15. All right. You let me know when you've got it.
4:15.
Yep.
Hit it.
Rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into Him who is the head, into Christ. Cars, what'd you take from that? I'm going to let you be the first person to talk on it. And then I'll give my thoughts.
Actually, you know what, Ian?
Yep.
Why'd you choose that verse? I want to know.
I like what a lot of Paul writes. I think that a lot of his letters are filled with wisdom, and I think that it's important for us when I'm picking and choosing what verses I want to talk about. His epistles, his letters to all of these different churches across Europe should be taken into account because those churches that were making mistakes that needed Paul's guidance, some of our churches are making the same mistakes. Pretty simply, we proclaim God's word and we do it with love. To summarize it, to grow up into to grow up to grow up in every way into Him who is the head, into Christ. Right. So we are called to be Christ-like. Right. That's our goal.
Why do you think our consciousness doesn't support that?
Because we are born into sin and we have sinful nature now. Because of what happened years and years and years ago.
Why do you think God gave us consciousness?
Uh, because God loves us. God loves us enough to give us free will to do what we please, right?
I'm talking about consciousness in the sense of everyone has their own thinking. Okay, we broke this down to me the other day. Yeah. Why do you think my consciousness is so sinful? Like I'm not always thinking the right thing. Is that because we were trying to expect perfect in an imperfect world? Like,
No, it's because we're born. It's because we're born into sin. We are born having these sinful desires instinctively implanted in us. And there's a lot of them, right? Like like you said earlier with seeing red, like your first thought when you see anger is to respond with anger. Like that's instinct. That's instinct to you. We are called to resist that because anger, lust, all of those things, they're greed, those are all fleshly desires. But we're supposed to be worried about our spiritual desires. And our spirit is perfect, right? Like our spirit is perfect, but our flesh is sinful. our spirit is called to be perfect. And so we should what we should do is we should listen to what our spirit wants more than what our flesh wants. And we can find what our spirit wants in the Bible. We can find it through Jesus and his word. Does that help?
It does. It does. Because I just wonder why my consciousness is not perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's tough for me to explain it as well because, well, it's tough for me to explain it because I can relate as well. You know, like I want to sin. And like a lot of people probably don't want to say it, but like you want to sin as well. You know, like everyone here has a desire to sin one way or another. But it's up to us to avoid that temptation.
Precisely.
Had to think for a second on that one.
I did. I did. I did. I don't. Sometimes I.
All right, Cars, you got any final thoughts? We'll call it here.
I do.
Let's hear it. I love hearing these final thoughts. Let's hear them.
I'm gonna do a final thought / takeaway, man.
Uh-oh. Give it to me.
There's a burning house. Don't catch that house on fire, man. Hit fire with water. De-escalate the situation. Respond with love.
Amen.
Trump. Trump.
Oh.
Let's see where the tariffs lead us in the next couple of years.
Yeah, just the final review. We don't know where the tariffs are taking us. Some of us are more of a fan of them than not. Just remember, Jesus loves you.
And we hope and pray that everyone has a blessed Friday. Ain't that right, E?
Have a blessed day.